Cold in here. Let me tell you, I've already addressed it as best I can. I've told them and told them to turn up the heat. Doing our best. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you a dear friend, a dear child advocate in this community. Miss Beth DeHart is a volunteer, CASA volunteer, and that's how we came to know each other. She has a wealth of experience in many different arenas with different agencies and groups. The one thing, no matter whether I go to prevent child abuse or whether I go to like the Children's Law Center or wherever I go, Beth is usually there. And in some shape, form, or fashion, either volunteering, working, training, doing that. But she, in addition to being a master painter, she is responsible for painting the wall at the CASA office in the children's lobby. But just a dear friend of mine, and I love you to death. Y'all, Beth DeHart.
Okay. I gotta say, kudos to you guys for coming to a workshop called Brain Training, because what the heck is that? So thank you for coming. If you've been in a workshop with me before, you know you're not going to sit still for very long, and you know we're going to be just wild, crazy, stupid. So just be prepared. Put your running shoes on. So I got to do this here. I can't stay there. I just wanted to be selfish for just a quick second and say that I'm really privileged and excited to have my mom with me today. She's never been able to come with me until one of these, so I'm really happy. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate that. So, all right, if you guys have been in a workshop with me before, you know that one of my favorite things to do is to mess with you. I want to mess with your brain. That's why we're doing brain training. I want you to think differently, and I want to make you very, very uncomfortable at some point. So, just be prepared. We're going to do that. All right? All right, so just to get started, the first thing that we want to look at is this definition. We all know it, right? We know it. Well, let's just refresh our memory. Let's read it together. Ready? The definition of insanity is? Right. What I wanted to talk to you guys about today is finding options to solve a problem. We all are sort of put together with a certain set of genes and a particular history and a background and attitudes and opinions and beliefs, and all of that comes together when we're trying to make a decision on how to solve a problem. Well, you know, when you get to be my age, those patterns are pretty well established. You know, we have our thing that works for us, but it doesn't always work. It might work for us. It doesn't necessarily always work. And so I'm a quotes person. I live by quotes all the time. And this is probably my favorite, probably, because I really need to tell myself regularly that just because I did this thing yesterday and it worked does not mean that if I do it today, it's still going to work. There's no guarantee. You know that when you put 75 cents in a drink machine and you don't get your drink. It just happens. You got to be willing to roll with it, right? All right. So we're going to look at ways to force your brain out of the little box that it's in when you're looking for options to solve a problem. Thank you, Paige, so much for the beautiful introduction, and I am incredibly passionate about children. That's true, but I'm also passionate about you guys and your potential to make the differences that you're making in the world. And we can only get better, right? We all have so much potential we haven't even begun to tap into yet, and I'm a perfect example of that because prior to probably 1998 or so, I had never picked up a paintbrush. Never. It terrified me. I was in awe of artists. Never picked up a paintbrush myself. One day I said, doggone it, I need something on that wall. I don't have money to pay somebody to do it, so I'm going to do it. So I did. And now I have had the honor of sharing that space with you guys. And so when you push yourself and say, I'm willing to step out of my little boat here a little bit and see what happens, amazing things can happen. Not saying my art is amazing, but I like it. So, okay. All right. I am in consideration of time, I'm going to skip this first little activity just because I'm afraid we're going to run out of time. But we're still going to have plenty of fun, believe me. All right. So let me just ask solutions to problems? Tell me. Call a friend. Yes. How else?
You analyze the situation and pros and cons and
Okay. So you sort of research, looking at it carefully, inside and outside. Yes. How else? Oh, okay, so sort of vision it out. Okay, good. I like it. Yes, ma'am. Like tearing it apart, breaking it apart, looking at the little pieces. Yeah, absolutely. I think
What you've done before.
that's what I was waiting for. I was just kind of answering this question for myself, and you guys did the same thing I did. You look at what's already worked, have we done it before? Ask somebody, do some research. Try something new. Well, that one is usually the most uncomfortable, but sometimes it's the most necessary. Clearly, if putting my 75 cents in the drink machine has always worked up until now, and I just now did it, and it didn't work, I got to do something different. It ain't going to fix itself, right? The Coke bottle's not going to say, oh, Beth, I miss you, here I come. It's just not going to do that. Like, I've got to do something different. And sometimes that's uncomfortable, especially to keep the machine, you hurt your toes. Very uncomfortable. Right? So, but necessary. If I want that Coke, I got to do something. I have to find a new option to solve my dilemma, right? I have to. Okay. So, I wanted to tell you a quick little story as to why this is really important. And, I will tell you that I have a 9.5-year-old angelic being that lives with me who I adore. He is incredible, and the story is about him because every mom has to tell a story about their baby, right? All right. When Jonah was little, we were trying to get him out of his diapers, okay? And he hated it. He was so mad at us. And so we would put his little underwear on, and he would cry. He would sit there, he's this high, sit there in his underwear crying and say, I want my diaper. Tears. Oh, please, Mommy, I want my diaper. And we had to stand there like, dude, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. We had to. We had to. Why? Why did we have to do that?
He couldn't go to high school with his diaper on.
Yes! I'm a 16-year-old with a diaper on. I had to push him there. I had to. He was miserable. Miserable. You guys have had these stories, right? He tried to ride a bicycle, hated it, falling, hurt himself, shaking, literally shaking when he's sitting on a bike. So miserable. Did it anyway now, he's jumping rails. We have to push through that. So, I just give you that as some background as to the first time that you try something new or a little bit different, it's going to stink. You're going to hate it. It's going to be awful. Probably. Maybe not. But after you do it the next time, not so bad, and the next time, a little bit better, and eventually it may become your favorite thing to do. This, standing up here in front of you guys, one of my favorite things to do. I used to be terrified of being in front of people. But I have fun. And the first time I was horrified. Sweat, horrible. It was terrible. But you get there. So my point is there's hope. If you want to try to move yourself beyond where you already are, there's hope. It gets better. It really does. I just say that to say, don't worry. Be all right. All right. So if you're thinking about the way that you normally solve a problem now, how do you know that those solutions are actually working? Seeing results. Who gets to define whether or not those results are good? Does anybody else have an opinion on that, maybe? Maybe so. Maybe so. I tend to think that my solutions to things are darn good. Everybody else in my life may have a completely different opinion on that, though. So, there are some ways that we can actually look at our ways to solve problems and tell if they're working. They achieve the desired outcome, like you said, you get what you want. People are satisfied with the process and the outcome. You feel satisfied with the process and the outcome. That's important. If you get what you want, but everybody else standing behind you is weeping and gnashing their teeth, then it probably was not the best option. You got to look at the process through it. Did people get injured? temperature as you were solving this problem? Did you hurt people's feelings? Did people hurt your feelings? Are you completely out of money now because of the solution that you chose? You know, what was the process like? It's the question of means to an end. Does the end justify the means? That's an important question when you're looking at how you solve problems. It's important to look at that process. Are other people satisfied with not just the outcome, but also the process? Are you satisfied with the outcome and not just the process? And you have to look at that. You have to consciously look. And sometimes that may mean sitting down and asking somebody. We just went through this big reorg at work. I'm using this as an example. We didn't, but we just went through a big reorg at work. Sit down with people one at a time. How did that go? How'd you feel about it? If we go through something similar next year, how can we do it differently? People are going to get used to the outcome, but they can be impacted for a very long time with the process. Does that make sense? So it's important for us to think in our own brain about the process. Am I doing it okay? Am I hurting people? Am I making people feel good? Am I causing people to want to come along with me? Or are they wanting to run in the other direction and just have no choice but to come along with me? So this is an important question to ask yourself. Yes. So if we are looking at the process and the outcome and we're realizing that maybe we're not doing it quite as well as we would want to, how do we find some new options? Y'all tell me. How do we find some new ways to answer these issues?
Trial and error.
Trial and error. Tried and true. Educate yourself. Meaning? Good. Thank you. Yes?
Research to see what someone else has done.
Beautiful. Are these answers sounding familiar at all? They sound like what we just said. You know, there's wisdom beyond my little sphere of influence, right? So do what we said a while ago. Look elsewhere. Look at something else that's already worked. Again, ask someone else. Do some more research. Try something else new. It's the same kind of process, but there's so many options for solution out there, you just never know what you're going to run across. So it's arrogant for us to assume that we, at this moment in time, have all wisdom. We don't. There's always wisdom out there that we need and should probably be seeking. This is another quote that I really like, and I'll read it to you because it may be hard to see from back there. Doing a thing wrong over a long period of time gives it the superficial appearance of being right. How about that? Can you guys think of some instances of this in your life? Have you seen this? Bosses, parents, teachers.
We've always done it.
Always done it this way. What's wrong with it? Yes, sir.
That's what I was going to say.
Always done it. You guys know the story about the granddaughter who was cooking her first Christmas ham, right? Y'all know the story? Does everybody know the story? If you don't, it doesn't ring a bell, let me tell you. Real quick. Granddaughter, who was an adult, was cooking her first Christmas ham. And she had watched her mother do this many times. And she gets the ham, takes her knife, and cuts off both ends of the ham and puts it in the pan. And then she realized, she said, why did I just do that? I said, no. My mom always did it. I'm not sure why though. So she cooks, and then when her mom comes over, she says, Mom, why do you cook? Why do you cut the two ends of the ham off? She said, well, my mom always did that. And so, okay, well, all right, so then Grandma eventually comes over for Christmas dinner, and they're sitting down to eat, and the granddaughter asks Grandma, why did you always cut both of the ends of the ham off? And Grandma said, well, that's the only way it would fit in the pan. Sometimes we need to kind of reevaluate, why are we doing things this way? Is it really necessary still, right? How much ham has been wasted? Right? Okay, so now I'm going to start messing with you guys. I need 7 volunteers who do not mind being embarrassed and who like playing board games. Come on, 7. Come on. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more. One more. Don't make me like password. You know about password, right? You have to give your partner clues to the word, and they have to guess the word. Well, taboo is exactly like that, except the very best clues you cannot use. Okay? All right. So, Maylin, I'm going to designate you as the guesser. Okay? Maylin's going to be our guesser, and we have 6 different rounds of taboo that we're gonna run, and each one of you is going to have a different word that you have got to convey to Maylin without the best clues. All right? Okay. So you guys, let's see. Maylin, come stand over by me, and Abby, you can go first. So you stand this way so you can't see them. Oh. All right, you can't see it, right? No. Okay. So Abby, you come stand in front of her, and what's your name? Carly, can you count to give me 30 seconds? Just count in your head or something. And tell us time when it's time, okay? You got 30 seconds, Abby. We'll see if 30. 30. Yeah, it's good. 30. Okay. Ready? All right. Go.
A dog, a cat,
Good.
raccoon.
You can speak. You just can't use those words.
Oh, okay. Are you saying meow? You're a cat.
Keep going. She said that.
A kid.
Ready? Ready? All right.
High school. Oh, it broke it.
All right. We'll give you that one. Go ahead.
Reunions,
Graduation.
memories.
This is hard. This is hard, right?
All my
That's right. This is hard, right? Okay. Bruce, you're up. All right. Maybe you should look at your list first. All right. Okay. Go.
MySpace. Facebook. Heart. Love.
Time.
Time. Oh. It was a good strategy. Look at what Ruth did. She saw that charades worked, but she didn't want to play charades. She saw that David didn't work at all, so she's trying to. I did. So she's trying to spell the word for her. That was a good strategy. Very good. Good try. All right. Good. All right. Megan. activity that Ruth is familiar with, and so that's where she's going. Now, I'm going to pick on you just a second. Did you get your word across? No. So, tell me, what do we need to tell Ruth? Something different. Try something completely different. If it's not working, try something different, right? And, we learned some lessons from the people who went before us, some things that worked, some things that didn't, and this happened really fast, right? But there was a whole lot of lessons learned in that from what worked and what didn't. And we saw, as we got along closer to the end, the success rate went up significantly, right? Was anybody uncomfortable? Nervous, yeah? Bob was very uncomfortable. I think Bob has some skills on the dance floor, I'm just saying.
I'm actually trolling.
I was kind of worried about communication, like if she had not known Aladdin, I'm not sure what I would have said.
Okay, all right. So being familiar with our options and our particular frame of reference is important when you're trying to find a solution to a problem. That is important. That's exactly what Megan said. She knew her frame of reference was familiar to her, but she had no idea if it would be familiar to her partner, right? So what did she do? She just tried it. And then she said, I don't know what I would have done if that didn't work, but I bet she probably would have come up with something. And we had, here we had, we have a lot of acting going on. That was working. We've got spelling going. People were trying something new. You were really trying something new, and I'm impressed. And David, if I could give you more
I will
time.
no longer recommend cheating. It's a strategy it has failed.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
I was going to say, I'm a visual person, so the first thing I tend to do is jump to a visual description. I'm always that way. I'm always a visual learner. I'm trying to explain to people visually what it looks like and stuff.
Thank you for that. And again, Madeline got Abby's word. But if she hadn't, because Abby was defaulting to what's familiar, she was doing what makes sense to her, right? What would you have done if it didn't work, if it wasn't working?
Well, since I was the first person up, I was still trying to evaluate the rules, and you were telling me you can say something. That didn't register at first. I just automatically jumped to charades, and when you had some input, then it helped me. Okay, I can say something that goes along with that. But if I hadn't been able to speak, I don't know what I would have been able to do. I don't know, maybe curl up in little ball, try to represent a small or something. But I was trying to. Y'all can see I was trying to be out to her. I don't know why. I thought that wouldn't make a difference.
But do you see what we're trying to demonstrate here? Taboo is an excellent game. I mean, if you just like playing games, that is an excellent game to force you out of your comfort zone. Because David, right off the bat, made 2 errors in using words that he was not allowed to use. It's familiar. It just happens naturally. He couldn't help it. I mean, it just kind of, it came out of him. He wasn't even intending it to, but it did, right? So this is important, When we talked earlier about, is the process working here? But the process wasn't working. It wasn't. We got to ask ourselves that, is the process working? Am I abiding by the rules? Am I getting there based on the rules? Are people happy with me? Am I happy with them? Is it working? If not, got to try something different. If we had had more time, if I'd given him more time, I'm sure he would have done it because he looks like an intelligent man. I'm sure he would have done it. And more time. But that's another limitation a lot of times. You guys know this, right? We have time limits. Right? And if I'm trying what I know, what's familiar to me to solve this problem, and I'm on a time limit, but it ain't working, what's going to happen?
You get mad.
That will happen, but what's got to happen? We got to try something different. And if you can't think of anything, that's all right. I mean, if I had given these guys more time, and say David was trying to get his way, he just couldn't get it, and I had said, you have permission to ask for help, then that would have probably gotten it, But that would be up to him that takes something from within him to say, okay, I got to give this up because within my skill set, I can't make this happen. I'm going to have to try something different. Sometimes that's very, very difficult, but necessary. Okay? Let's give our guys a hand, y'all. It may be hard to find new options to solve a problem, but that does not make it less worthwhile to do. And again, you know, just like Jonah coming out of his diapers, Jonah learning to ride a bicycle, you guys learning to drive a car. Anything that you've learned to do for the first time is uncomfortable. But once you accomplish it, it's awesome. It almost inevitably will add value to your life. Even the mistakes you have made will add value to your life if you choose for them to add value to your life. You learn from those mistakes. We can learn from those mistakes if we choose to, right? So it's all about how you're looking at it and what you're willing to do to get to where you want to go. Sometimes the new solutions are better than the old ones. Yes? Right? Here's another one of my favorite quotes. You guys probably know it. Maslow was brilliant. When the only tool you have in your toolbox is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. Right? If mama's only solution to getting her kids to obey is to scream at them, then it doesn't matter if she's trying to get them to wash the dishes or do their homework or stop being ambitious, but she's going to scream at them. That's what she does. Right? If the way you always let your spouse know that you're irritated is to clam up and not speak for 2 days, doesn't matter what he's done. If he's left his shoes, if he cheated on you, doesn't matter. You do the same thing. Because that's where you are. It's where you're coming from. But sometimes it's important to pack your toolbox with a few extra tools. You got a hammer, okay, we're familiar with the hammer. Maybe you can develop a screwdriver, all right? Moving out of your comfort zone is the only way that happens, though. And nobody can do that but you. Nobody. Your volunteers that you're working with, you know, they may be trying to get a child to open up. It's not working. You've got to try something different. And they've got to be the one that's willing to do that. You can't make them. All right. Now, the next super fun thing that we're going to do is and the people that work for and with me will tell you that my very favorite thing in the world to do, besides dancing, is brainstorming. And because to me, this is a tool that I developed on purpose. I learned how to process a really good brainstorm to solve a problem. I haven't always had that skill. I chose to learn it, and now I think we do it pretty well. We've come up with some really cool solutions to problems that way. So I want to teach you guys how to do a really good brainstorm. All right. So in order to do that, there are 3 basic rules that I'm going to impose upon you guys. All right. And here they are. I'm going to put you into groups to do this in just a minute. But here are the rules within your groups. Everybody offers at least one idea. There is no evaluation of ideas, i.e., that's stupid. Oh, I never heard that one before. No, just throw it out there. Just throw it out because you don't need to be, those of you that are participating in the brainstorm don't need to feel inhibited. And that evaluation of your idea can cause that. So no evaluation, positive or negative. All right? And then this is my favorite, the stranger, the better. All right? Because sometimes you got to go way over and to get to the seed of a good idea, and then you can come back a little bit to something that's a little bit more doable. All right? So these are the rules. Everybody clear on the rules? All right. I need to check my time. Okay, I'm doing pretty good so far. What I want you guys to do is, I really don't care about the size of your group. I'm going to get whatever. I would say no more than about 10 in a group. Let's just pick some areas like this front area up here, the back area, the back area, the back area. Maybe a little group right here on the stage would be fine. And in the back, just section yourselves off into groups of about 10 or so. Go. somebody who's going to be your scribe, or whoever. And please pay attention to the rules. These are important, okay? I'm not kidding when I say the stranger the better, because I want you guys to really try to get your brain out of your comfort zone, all right? You will naturally start in your comfort zone just because of how it happens that way. But after a little while, I want you to kind of intentionally push yourself a little bit, all right? So I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to do this brainstorm, and then we'll stop and kind of see what we've ended up with, all right? What I want you to do is to brainstorm all the uses you can think of for a brick. That's it. That's it. So, uses for a brick, you got 2 minutes, go.
Yes, I heard. So I heard.
That's good. Paperweight.
Decorate with bricks. Yeah, like these doorstops.
No, yeah, open the window, open the window.
You use it as a decoration. If you heat it, you can paint it.
Yeah,
You
give
can
me
paint
for
on
cooking.
it. You can put a picture on it. If it gets hot enough, do you not know about brick ovens?
Yeah, we got that. You can use it for your flower bed, like you have on your flower bed, landscape border.
Would that be decoration?
Yeah, I got decoration in there.
An anchor.
Safety device, I can throw it at my intruder coming through the door.
Fireproof.
This could be kind of strange.
You got about 30 more seconds.
It's either this like house with joining together.
How about to keep red doesn't it hold heat? Yes, it does. That's why the chicken with the bricks.
Oh, well, you can use it. They would heat them up and use them as bed warmers.
Okay. I hear some laughing, so I think you guys have had a good time. I'm glad. I like to be a bringer of joy. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to take some notes while you guys tell me your answers. Okay. And I'll do it as fast as I can. So let's start with my group up front. Tell me what you got. I think I only got about a third of those. Wow. That's okay. That's all right. All right. Well, we'll just go with what I got. All right. Thank you. Hey, no, come on. We're not done. Come on. Y'all gonna like each other real good by the time we're done. Okay. How about my group over to my left?
Okay. For the different ones, I think we had somebody said camera, weapons, to teach masonry, to An insect killer. Stop a car from rolling. Writing utensil. Fundraise.
What?
Fundraiser. Use as a planter. You can divide it and you can end your lawn.
Great. Thank you. Okay, how about the back?
Okay, murder, break out car windows.
A bunch of criminals back here.
Stranger the better.
Scale.
Scale.
Yeah, I'm gonna put one in her bag when we're at the airport, so she has to pay more money.
That'll be a fundraiser for the airlines. Okay.
Okay, we have other ones, like quarter around the plane.
Holds down the gas pedal if you're trying to get rid of your car.
Unless you have a Toyota. Sorry. Okay, what else?
We had all of them.
And the rest of them. Okay, good. Okay, how about my corner group back there?
All right, we said way down a dead body.
Oh.
Sold for a shoe.
Say?
Sold for a shoe. Throw in a well, so you can see how deep the well is. A brick toss. Bookends. Furniture. And a pet.
And a pen. Love it. Thank you. Okay, how about my middle group right here? These guys.
A cartoon character.
Okay. A car chalk. Yeah, we got that. Okay.
You got that, okay. Prop up a bed. Build a bookcase.
Okay.
Artwork. And probably you said door stuff. Steps. A paperweight.
Got that one. Good.
Well, you got, and to build a campfire around.
Good.
Fire extinguisher. Canoe station.
Okay. With no evaluation of ideas here. Okay. All right. Good. All right. Cool. Okay. Now my group right here.
Okay. No one else said.
Yeah.
Save the water in the toilet. Put it in the toilet.
Yep.
Barbecue pit. Under the car for protection.
Like a hidden self-defense.
Yeah. The whole, the air conditioning unit on the ground. Join it with cement. Make a path. No, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant to say. But go ahead.
Music.
Yeah, you can use it.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. Right here. Ah. Okay. I think we got that one. Good. All right. Is that it? Chicken? And brick chicken? Chicken with a brick. Oh. All right. Good. No, ma'am. You're right. Absolutely. Okay. Back here.
Stepping stones, road, cover holes, and keep mat. And mailbox.
Got mailbox. Okay. Good. All right. And we got one more group or two?
Just one.
One. Okay.
We have colored water,
if I had just seen you on the street and said, how many uses for a brick could you think of? What do you think you would have said? Just ballpark. 10. We've got 73. You see the power of the brainstorm? Now, clearly, we wouldn't individually use all of these options, but if I told you that my problem was I needed to come up with an inexpensive way to decorate around my house, we could go through this list and pick out those brainstorming options that you guys came up with and come up with a pretty good list of at least some starter ideas, right? I could also say, you know what, I've been needing to exercise, but I don't have money to go to a gym. You could say, guess what I got for you? You could say, my ex-husband is driving me crazy. I could say,
Guess what?
There you go. But you guys allowed yourselves to push outside of what you normally are thinking of. Teaching math with bricks. I think that's the coolest idea. A fire extinguisher. That's a cool idea. Prop up a bed. There you go. Pet brick. We all get lonely, y'all. Whatever. There's power here. So, the next step in the brainstorm, which we're not going to do with this brainstorm, but we will do with the next one, is what you would do then. Once you've got your big issue that you need to brainstorm, do an activity like this. Make sure you use the rules. Make sure it's important that people know that we're not going to evaluate ideas and everybody's got to offer something, and the stranger the better, because then you really get out there. And you're not going to end up out there, but you kind of have to go there first, and then you can come back to something reasonable. Okay. So then the next step to that is to narrow your focus. That's the coming back in a little bit. What exactly is it we're trying to accomplish here? Let's look at our options that we've come up with and rule out the ones that just are not going to help us at all, not even in the realm of possibility. But see what we're left with, and maybe we can come up with something that's workable. Okay, we're going to do this again, and because, ooh, that sounded southern, didn't it? We're going to do this again. And this time, because you guys are all child advocates, we're going to focus it on a case study. We're going to do a brainstorming with these same rules with a case study, okay? Same rules. So here's your case study. We got James. He's 12 years old. His assets are, and this is a real child that we work with where I work. His name's not James, though. His mother's brother, his uncle, assists with the finances in the home. His mom's brother assists with things that the mom needs to read because, you'll see in a minute, that mom can't read. Mom's very involved with James's education. He is an only child. He's very personable, polite, and confident. And he's involved with the school social worker. His limitations, is that his mother is functionally illiterate. The father isn't present in the home. He's been suspended twice recently for being disrespectful. His mom allows her brother to discipline James, and he often beats him. Mom doesn't say anything. DSS has been informed about this case, but they didn't open a case. Yet we continue to hear from James that he gets beaten up by his uncle. So I need for you guys, and you're actually going to be helping me today with your brainstorm. What I want you to do is to brainstorm with the rules that we just went through, some options for what we can do for James. And actually, the fact that DSS didn't open a case, what they did do was they wrote a letter to the family and said, basically, please don't beat your kid anymore. Now, if anybody in here is from DSS, please, you guys are some of the hardest working people I can think of. But times is tight, and times is tight. I understand that. But this leaves us with this child who has an issue. And we gotta help him somehow. And we're trying. But you guys can help me, so I appreciate your help. So what I want you to do is take another couple minutes, and again, go way out there. What are some options? What are some things that we could do to help James to make sure he's safe and protected, and that he's going to be able to make it through this school year alive? I'm being a little dramatic there, I apologize. So take 2 minutes, and then we'll come back together and see what we got.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it'll take you.
Education.
She needs to read first.
Well, we can't evaluate people's suggestions either, remember?
Right, we just have to write them down.
Yeah, we just have that's a good, to attempt to track down the father. Help track down the father.
Can I ask a question, y'all? Helps people read jobs. Like, is there an agency?
Wait one first time.
Comes over. Wrap services. Wrap
I don't know what the school social worker, how far she can go with it.
To make sure why
He also needs to learn to be able to report,
what level of discipline he's using is why he's using it, that level of discipline on that child, because what does the child do that contributes to him disciplining him to that level, to that extent?
Got about 45 seconds.
Put that way. So if I want to, that's why I think that'd be a good way the social worker work with him on ways to discipline a child without having to
Uncle meet with
beat
social
him with
worker
drugs.
during discipline. So is the mother giving the uncle free reign because there's no male figure, dad or whatever in the house, and because the uncle assists with finances? Because the uncle assists
Don't worry,
with
it's not
finances?
turned on.
All right, that's good. Because the uncle assists with finances, she feels
Okay.
he's got it right because he
I am excited to hear what you guys have come up with. So let's just take the same path that we took a minute ago. We'll start back here again in the front. What are we going to do for James?
David?
Okay. All right, scribe.
Louder. Louder.
Louder.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Has the child feel adequate in the sense that have the child help the mom learn how to read? So the child feels like he's helping mom will give something in return. Discuss other options.
Beth, can you read it out because the mic, we can't hear.
Yes, sure. Are you telling me it's time? It's time. Okay. Well, there you go. Okay. Well, it is the best part. I'm sorry. That's my bad. I didn't time it well. I apologize. Let me just tell you what I intended to have you guys do after we finished this part was to limit your answers to those options that could be accomplished within the next 30 days. And then limit your answers to those that would most likely allow James to remain in his home. And then limit your answers to those that would be accomplished by the school social worker. Because this is real life. Sometimes we have those, we get our ideas and then we got to rein them in based on what our options are and our resources are. So, what I wanted to leave you guys with was just this one last statement. This kind of process, the brainstorming process that we just went through, helps us to bypass our traditional ways of thinking and helps us to find unique new options that may actually work better than the old ones. So that would be my challenge to you as you leave here. Consider your brain trained a little bit and try it and see what happens. You can start with something simple like, how do we decide where we're going to have lunch? Ultimately, you might land in a new place where you're changing somebody's life. So thank you guys. I had fun.
You gotta give me that string.